G'day guys, how's it going? So we've done, I believe, 23 videos now in this Rust series, and I feel that this is around the time that you guys should start really testing your knowledge. So what I've got is a list of tuples in front of me, and in each tuple I've got a left operand, a right operand, and then an operator, right, for arithmetic. So the idea of this is that you'll iterate through all of these tuples. You will grab the left operand and the right operand, and based on the symbol, you'll perform that action, right? So for the first one, you'll do an addition. For the second one, you'll do a subtraction, multiplication, division, so on and so forth, right? And this function down here is basically what you're going to implement passing in these operations, right? So if I look up here, basically I've got the calculate and print function, and you can see the operations to pass through as an argument here, right? Or sorry, a parameter. Now I've given some instructions on what to do. So the first thing I would like you to try and do is write a function for each operator. So a function for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Cool. Then for each of these functions, I want to make sure that you pass in two floating point values that are 64 bits and basically return a value that is a float of 64 bits. Then I want you to write a while loop or whatever you want to use. You can use a for, you can use a loop, whatever you want to do. I'll give you my answer a little bit later. But you can write a loop to process these operations, right, that are passed in. And basically, once you do that, you'll grab all the information out of each tuple for each iteration, and you'll have your left operand, right operand, and operator accordingly. Then you'll write an if condition that checks the operator and then decides which operator function that you've created from earlier will be called. And then as a result of that, you're going to call that function, right? Now, in the case of if the operator is wrong, so say I put in something here that isn't one of those, like this, for example, what I want you to do is do something called a panic, right? Now, I haven't taught this yet, but it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is go panic, exclamation mark, and then just type an error saying something like operator is invalid. And that will do. All right. So basically, that will be the global catch, just in case one of these operators aren't there. All right. In fact, I'll just take a couple steps back here. Get me back to the operator I want. Whoops. There we go. So, and then once you've run that, you'll get a result, right? I want to store that result in a result variable. And then ultimately, I want you to print out the left operand, the operator, the right operand equals result. And that will happen for each tuple that's in this list. Cool. So go ahead and try that. Now, if you want this code, I'll make it available to you. The link will be in the description, so you can just grab it from there. But take this code, try this exercise out. So make sure you pause the video right now, because in a moment, I'm going to show you the answer. So how'd you go? Were you able to complete that task? If not, it's okay. I'm going to show you, well, my solution right now. So let's cover the first point here, which we're going to write a function for each operator. So we need an add function, a minus or subtract function, a multiply and a divide function, right? So let's just quickly define those functions. So I'll go add, for now I'll just do this, and then subtract, then we're going to have a function called multiply. And you can call these what you want, but these are obviously the best name you can do, the better. Divide, right? So they're my four functions, right? So that takes care of the first point, right? Write a function for each operator. Now I haven't implemented it, but basically I've written it, right? Now for each operator function, we must take in two F64 values and return an F64 value. So I'm going to go through doing that. So I'm going to say left operand, and that will be an F64. And then right operand, and that's an F64 as well, right? like so. And then I said also return an F64. So there's our F64 return, right? And I could go about implementing all these, but sorry, this one, but I'm going to actually just do what my instructions say, which is cover them all first. So we'll return F64 here, F64 here, and finally F64 there, right? And what's going on with this? What did I do wrong? Ah, yes, I haven't filled in the body of the function yet. So let's go about doing that, right? Let's actually just implement these functions. So for an add, all we're going to do is go left operand plus right operand. And we don't need the semicolon because we're going to use an expression, and that can be returned immediately from a function like so, right? Cool. And I'm just going to do similar for the others. So I'll just copy and paste this in and then just change the operator accordingly. So that's a minus, that's a multiply, and that's a divide. Cool. So that takes care of 1 and 2, right? We're taking care of those two things. So the next step is to do number 3, which is to write a loop, right? In fact, what I'll do is straight after 3, I'll do my loop. And essentially, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for, right? I'm going to use a for loop in this case, left operand. So I'm going to be destructuring that item that's coming through that operator's, operations list. I'm going to destructure each tuple. So I'm going to grab left operand, then I'm going to grab the right operand, and then I'm going to grab the operator, right? There you go, in, and then operations, right? So I'm destructuring everything that's in this operations list, right? And for each item, I'm grabbing 3 things. Cool. So now what I can do is I can either implement the if condition that's down here. Oh, actually, I've done 4, by the way. I've destructured it into 3 variables, right? So that's actually also done. So we can bring that up and put that just above this line. Now I can do 2 things here. I can either implement the whole if condition inside of this function, or I can put the if condition in another function and return the value, right? And then that return value is what will be printed out here. So I could do something like let result equals, and then I just call calculate, left operand, right operand, an operator. And I'm going a little ahead here, but basically they'll take care of 6 and 7 here is what we're doing, right? So in fact, I might even cut that and put that just above this, right? Or actually we'll take 7 and put that below. And then basically I'll print out what I want, right? So I'll go print line, and I'll say left operand, operator, right operand equals result. So that's 6 and 7 covered. So now we just need to deal with 5, which is we need to run that if condition. We're going to put that inside of my own calculate function, just to separate out the getting the value and then printing the value. I didn't want to put that all in the same function outside of this loop, right? Sometimes it's better just to say, I want all my calculation to be in one function and then all my printing to be in another function. Because we're only printing one line, I just thought, just do print here, right? So here's my calculate function. It's pretty much going to have the same signature as up here. And this is where my if condition is going to go, okay? And in fact, sorry, I lie. I need the operator as well. My bad. Char, right? So that means everything down here looks good. We just need to return that F64. So because I'm going to have a single if condition, I can use an if expression, right? Which is what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to say if operator matches a plus symbol, all right? If it matches a plus symbol, I'm just going to return the result of an add with the two operands, right? Else, if the operator is actually equal to a subtraction, well, we're going to do a subtract. I think you start to understand where I'm going with this, right? In fact, I don't need that semicolon. Then another else if operator is a multiply. Then we're going to call multiply with the same operators. And I'm letting ItaliSense help me a little bit. Now, there's still some errors because silly me didn't use single quotes here. So it is complaining because it thinks it's something else that I haven't explained yet. And it says else if operator double equals this, then we're going to return multiply. Why is this failing? Because there's no else clause. That's fine. Then else if operator double equals divide, then we're going to call divide, right? And then finally, because an if expression needs an else, right? This is where I said earlier, we're going to use that, what do we call it again? We called it a panic, didn't we? So panic, and I'm going to say invalid operator, please check your data. I'm just going to put that, right? And now when I save this, once again, I silly me didn't use single quotes, like a common mistake I make. But now we have an if expression that evaluates to a single value because all of these return a single value except for this panic, right? But hopefully we never get here, so it doesn't matter. But panic allows you to return a single value as well. It's just that it will crash. So there's our calculate, there's our if condition. And if I've done everything right here, this should basically return what we're looking for. So let's just quickly run the code and check that for ourselves. And there we go. It looks like it's doing what we're after. So the first one I said I'm going to do an addition. 1 plus 1.5 is 2.5. 2.2 and 2.0. 2.2 minus 2.0 is 0.2. Now remember I mentioned sometimes floating point numbers add extra precision in when they shouldn't. So I'm not going to worry about that in this example, but essentially it should be 0.2, all right? Then the next one is 7.4 and 3.0. That's a multiplication. So we can see that that's come out to roughly 22.2. And then 9.9 divided by 4.5. We can see that's the operation there. So you get the gist, right? And that's coming as 2. And if you look at all the others, you'll find that they're all exactly what they should be. Cool. So that is my solution to the problem. The last thing I forgot to do here, just to be a little OCD, is to just write and make sure that I implement the comment before the if condition here. Just to indicate that's where it is. Cool. So that's it for this video. And from this point on, you've done the very basics of Rust. Now it's going to start getting interesting because the next step we're going to basically walk into is memory. So I'll see you all in my next video.